10 minutes past 9 o'clock here in South Africa, 10 minutes past 10 o'clock in Mina, in Makkah al Mukarramah in Saudi Arabia. And we cross over to the first time Haji, Hafiz Abdullah Mullah from Nelspruit, currently residing in Johannesburg. Firstly, Hafiz Sahab, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallahu khairan for joining us this evening on Radio Islam and availing yourself to give us an update. Firstly, Hafiz Abdullah, I think just before 1 or 2 weeks before you left for Hajj, we met and mashallah we had a discussion. But just if you could kindly explain to our listeners what motivated you to undertake this spiritual journey of Hajj.
Alhamdulillah, growing up, we always had this in our hearts that we must go for Hajj. And I think last year when my father went, I really, really wanted to go, to assist him as he's elderly now. And Allah knew better. But that just, created that desire. And of course, once you get married, then it's something that you and your wife look to do as a partnership or as a couple. So, and this is all, with tawfiq Allah, by the fadl of Allah. So we're very grateful that Allah has granted us this opportunity.
MashaAllah. How has your experiences been thus far? Tell us about the days you spent out in Makkah Mukarramah, in Medina Munawwara, the Tawaf of Baytullah Sharif, the crowds. How has your experience been so far?
Alhamdulillah, we came into Medina, and as always, Medina is very serene, peaceful. We had such a beautiful experience in the Rawda. Allah gave us a nice opportunity. We ended up reading Maghrib Salah as well in the Rawda. And then we came to Makkah. Allah made it so easy. Our Umrah was done inside of 2 hours. We managed to get Fajr Salah then also with Jama'ah. So Allah has made it very easy for us. The crowds have been very manageable. I think they've curbed down a lot on the illegal or uncertified Hajjis. So the crowds have been very manageable. Even though we've been doing it on the upper floors, it's still been very easy. And then we moved to Azizia a few days ago. Azizia takes a bit getting used to. You must the haram. But alhamdulillah, this morning we managed to also walk into Mina with nice atmosphere and that going. So Allah shukr, we're very fortunate.
Has it been your first trip ever? You've been for Umrah before, Hafiz?
Gee, alhamdulillah, Allah shukr, I have been to Umrah before. So it makes you a bit less anxious because you at least understand how the Haramain work, outside of the Hajj manasik. So, shukr, alhamdulillah.
Hafiz Abdullah, throughout the day, we've been crossing over to our presenters that are there in Mina, as well as other Hujjaj that are performing the Hajj for the first time, and they have been sharing their experience and they have been telling us, giving us regular updates. But we want to know your personal experience. If you can explain to our listeners, how did your first day of Hajj start? Like, what was the day like today? What time you guys left from Azizia for Mina? Yesterday we interviewed one of the Muallims, and they informed us that it was illegal for anybody to walk for Hajj, and everybody should be going in a bus or the transport that the Saudis has arranged. So tell us your experience and the time that you came into Mina, what activities you all carried out for the day.
So alhamdulillah, we all met in the Jamaat Khana of our building at around 3:45, which is around Tahajjud time. And Maulana Saliji advised everybody to read the 2 rakat salah as well as Tahajjud, make dua. And a lot of the Hajis went into Ihram before the Fajr Salah set in. Then usually they don't do this, but they had breakfast in the hotel for the Hajis. And we left around 6 o'clock walking. So I think the ministry it's more of a deterrent because a lot of the other countries are also walking. They just as a deterrent, I think, because of the people who died last year in the heat and that. So we went through many checkpoints. They've all checking our Nusuk card, a few times, and not once did they send us back and tell us to take the bus. So I think it's more of like an overall, let the masses maybe use the buses, and then whoever's going to walk will still walk. Seems like it.
Indeed, yeah.
So it took us around 45 minutes. So we left around 6. We got there around quarter to 7 into Mina. Alhamdulillah, we saw a nice, beautiful sunrise. We got into this year. We were Khidmatul Awam, and the allocation in the tents in Mina, they gave us all numbers. So your bed had a number. So it was very seamless. Everybody just went to their bed. There was no pushing and arguing about getting the best position or a different position or close to the wall, close to the aircon, etc. So Alhamdulillah, it went very seamless. I think one of the beauties of this is that you realize that you're a servant of Allah, but there are so many better servants of Allah than you. People that are crippled or handicapped or whatever, and they strive in so much more. And we think we worship in Allah, yet people worship Allah so much more. You realize that you're just a servant, and there's so many other more worthy servants than you.
Okay, mashallah. Now, tomorrow is a big day, Hafiz. According to the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's mentioned, Kama qal, that there is no day in which Allah sets free more souls from the fires of Jahannam than on the day of Arafah. And, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy rains down. Allah forgives people as well. Allah forgives everybody on this Mubarak day as well. How have you prepared yourself spiritually for tomorrow?
So Alhamdulillah, I've been trying to read all the Sunnah du'as just to become familiar with the Arabic of it and the meanings of them. And we've also created lists of du'as that we need to make for certain people. So we've got lists that are specific to our du'as and also du'as for other people that they've requested of us. I think, one is that we're representing ourselves on Hajj, but we also represent a greater ummah or a greater community that we are from. And of course, their du'as are also important. And we've just been trying to, stay away from sin and try and increase in our amal so that our spirituality is on a higher level so that we're able to connect with Allah, inshallah.
One more question for you, Hafiz Abdullah, before we leave you. Tomorrow being the day of Arafat, the one of the most important actions that you will be carrying out, the Wukuf al Arafat. So, any particular instructions that you got from your muallims, from the ulama, from the agents in your group, with regards to how to spend the day of Arafat, especially keeping in mind the weather and the heat that is happening now in Saudi? So, any particular instructions? What are the guidelines for tomorrow?
So I think from the ministry side, they out, I think between 10 and 4 p.m. or 10 and 2, somewhere around there. So we've been advised to make dua in our tents. They'll also, I think they, as a group, they'll have different programs, different duas, group duas, and that done by the different muallims. What I think was nice was one of the alims told us is that it's a very nice time to actually take your wife and go and make a dua with her, somewhere secluded, and actually bond with her and bond with your Allah as a couple. So inshallah,
True, but they mustn't fight, that's all, Gee. Go ahead, Hafiz.
No. So that's basically what they've advised us to do, and of course they've told us that the essence of the day is dua, and we should try and maximize our time. They say the 6 or 7 hours, whatever it is, goes so fast that you don't, and you realize that you need actually more time to make dua. So inshallah, we'll be trying our best.
That told you. Hafiz, I need to meet that alim that told you that spend your day with your wife.
And I think he meant more in the sense that you, as a couple, beseech Allah and
very true. MashaAllah, very true indeed.
Jazakallah khair, Hafiz Abdullah. Finally, you mentioned that you're meeting different people from different backgrounds, different servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you regard yourself to be someone important, but when you see them, then you regard yourself to be insignificant because of challenges and disabilities people from around the world that come from. So, on that note, what lesson would you like to share with our listeners, and what kind of unity or diversity do you see in these different groups and different people from different countries?
I think the biggest thing is the humility. Is that they greet you as if you're their brother. and it's not that there's any difference between you and them. We're all Muslim, and I think as South African Indian, it's a very like important lesson to learn that we know better than any of them. Just because we're South African and or we can speak English or we educated, I think that I think the biggest lesson to take is that we're all equal. And in the eyes of Allah, that those who are the most pious are, the more favored ones. So this sort of makes you realize that you need to have that humility because at the end of the day, they don't see us any different. But we come from a society that looks down upon these things in certain ways. So inshallah, if we can, myself especially, remove that type of mindset from us. I think that's one of the biggest lessons, especially spending today in Mina.
MashaAllah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept the Hajj of all the Hujjaj Karam. Inshallah, Allah take us
Ameen.
all there. Tomorrow is Arafah. Tomorrow is the day of Hajj. Al Hajj Arafah. Make the best of the day, inshallah. Aziz, make special du'as to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Immerse yourself wholeheartedly to Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. Cry your hearts out and make dua for the ummah, make dua for the people, the Muslims out in Gaza, Palestine, the Muslims around the globe, the marhumeen, the ill amongst the ummah, and special du'as for myself and Maulana Suhaib as well. Jazakallah so much, Hafiz. All of the best.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah.
Assalamu
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jimmy Shaib Sab, tomorrow, subhanAllah, is the day of Arafah. Tomorrow is, the Hajj day. In fact, the Hajj is saying the Talbiya labbaik, Allahumma labbaik. There is a hadith that comes to mind. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned glad tidings to the Hujjaj Karam that Ukama qal, that when a Muslim shouts labbaik, then verily every stone, every tree in all the grounds to his right and to his left recites the same. And this continues till that cry reaches the ends of the earth. Hadith in Tirmidhi Sharif as well. Once Ibn Umar says that a certain man once asked Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, what is the condition, the true condition and the appearance of Haji? To which the beloved of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the true Haji is he who comes with disheveled hair, clothes laden with the dust, moist with the sweat as well. Somebody asked Nabi of Allah, which Hajj is the most significant? Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the best Hajj is that which the voice is loudly raised, repeatedly reading the labbaik Allahumma labbaik and the excessive shedding of the blood of the Qurbani animals. Subhanallah, khush khabri to the Hujjaj Karam. And remember, dear listeners, the du'as, the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rains upon the Hajjis tomorrow, inshallah, upon us as well. When the day of Arafah comes, Allah descends to